In your news headlines, a new video game is aimed at helping farmers train their team to properly move cows. I spoke with project lead Dr. Jennifer Van Oss, assistant professor and extension specialist in animal welfare for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. She explains why improving our cow handling skills can lead to a boost in morale and profit.
It's something that we know is really important. Research has shown that cow handling affects milk production, animal stress, animal welfare, worker safety.
Calm cows produce more milk and behave more predictably, reducing the risk of injury to both themselves and their human caregivers.
I want to make sure that the work that I do in my research program is really applicable to the Wisconsin dairy industry. So I started meeting with dairy farmers and others in the industry, asking them, what do you think are your biggest challenges around animal welfare and animal care? And a lot of farmers asked me, can you come to my farm and train my employees on proper cow handling principles?
Traveling to that many farms isn't a realistic option, but Dr. Van Oss had a light bulb moment.
And I thought maybe we can use a flight simulator concept, just like what commercial airline pilots have to do, to try to get people to be able to practice cow handling in a simulated environment.
She tapped into something most of us carry around every day.
The employees who we're trying to reach, so milkers, people who move cows on the farm, owners have told me, I don't have a single employee who doesn't have a smartphone. Basically, everybody has one, regardless of their country of origin, their language, their literacy levels. Everybody's using smartphones now.
The video game Mooving Cows allows players to experience situations that would be challenging to create in real life due to cost, time, or safety.
As you play each level, you learn about these basic principles for moving cows around a dairy farm, such as fetching them from their home pen or freestall pen to the milking parlor, as well as loading them within the milking parlor. There are also some tutorial levels in a pasture paddock. And so as people go through the game, if they cause too much cow stress, they might have to repeat a level. But when they successfully complete one level, they then move on to the next. And at the very end, once they pass all 8 levels, they can receive a certificate of completion. And this can serve as documentation for continuing education for industry programs.
The game is available in English and Spanish.
So we really wanted to make sure throughout the process that it was something that would be relevant for our end users. And so this is primarily people who work on dairy farms who need this as part of their job training or continuing education. But we also tested this out with a lot of different types of audiences who we think could be interested in the topic of dairy cow handling or could benefit. So this included undergraduate students in animal science courses, veterinary students, and also youth in 4-H programs.
A virtual setting with the goal of a real-world win on the farm.
We did do some data collection where we asked people about their knowledge of best cow handling practices before and after playing the game. And we're very excited. So far, it looks like we are seeing good results where people's knowledge did significantly improve after playing the game. And we hope that that will then translate into their behavior in the barn.
Learning and growing in an environment that keeps people and cows safe.
I think that this can demonstrate to consumers or other members of the public that within the U.S. dairy industry, we take animal care very seriously, and that involves this industry-wide expectation for annual continuing education on what they call stockmanship or animal handling. And so it's really this industry-wide commitment to taking the best care of our animals, making sure to treat them appropriately and humanely, and that we expect everyone, regardless of their level of experience, if they're a new hire or even grew up on the farm, to have refreshers on these best handling principles and making sure to minimize cow stress. So I do think it's a really great way to showcase what happens on a farm, of course, in a simulated, very cute, fun setting, but also that this is something that is used within the industry because we really value this continuing education.
This educational game is free for download on either Android or Apple devices.